Welcome back to the Angel Clark Show. This is it, folks, the final segment of the show this evening. Just because I am about to stop talking doesn't mean that you have to stop listening. You can head to angelclark.us. There you will find 3 years worth of archives of the show. You can download them, stream them, share them with your friends. Also, you can head to the website noarmycanstopanidea.com. And there you will find the news stories that I wanted to share with you, but didn't have time to today. Now, there are a lot of them, mainly because today I focused on bombing. Mainly because today I focused on the United States military killing civilians all over the world. But, a lot of it in the Middle East, because that's where it's been targeted lately. So, let's look at some of the stories that you need to know about. A time for change. New Zealand's Prime Minister wants to cut Britain's Union Jack out of the national flag. Turkey lifts headscarf ban in schools for girls as young as 10. Humanoid pilot. Piebot is a toy-sized robot that has learned how to fly a real plane. An Air Force plane slated for the scrap heap is now on the front lines against ISIS. Oh, and have you heard about the Khorasan? This is a terrorist group that is suddenly a bigger threat than ISIS, and you probably haven't heard their name before today. How has that happened? Oh, well, I guess the United States has decided that more bombing needs to happen. So that means that there has to be a new enemy, right? Also on the website, Syrian rebel group armed with U.S. weapons condemns the airstrikes in Syria. I wonder if that rebel group that's been armed with U.S. weapons is going to be so angry about these strikes that they start attacking U.S. troops. After controversy, Bryan Singer will return to direct the X-Men sequel. The grim story of the Snowy Mountains cannibal horses. Yeah, you heard me. Cannibal horses. ISIS propaganda videos keep encouraging U.S. ground troops in Iraq and Syria. Chelsea Manning sues the Pentagon for refusing to treat gender dysphoria. The man who crashed a drone into Yellowstone hot springs sentenced to probation and banned from national parks. TSA officers try to screen a passenger after his flight and threaten him after he refuses. He was smart enough to videotape the occurrence. FBI forces police departments across the U.S. to keep quiet about cell phone spying gear. Of course, we all know that all kinds of crazy tech is in the hands of cops thanks to the federal government. Also, the U.S. predicts Ebola could infect 1.4 million people by the end of January. Remember, folks, the United States just recently sent troops over to fight Ebola. And apparently the hundreds of millions of dollars that's going to be spent and the troops that are going, well, that's not going to be enough to stop the spread of infection. In other words, the United States maybe should fight harder against Ebola. Mike Tyson helps a motorcycle crash victim in Las Vegas and then just disappears afterwards. Actually, the story is one of the weirder ones that I've seen recently. I highly recommend checking it out. Terminator 2-style liquid metal could create morphing electronics. Now, that's really, really cool. Russia warns U.S.-led coalition. Those who carry out strikes in Syria face blowback. The United States doesn't care about blowback. Oh, also, Russia won't quit nuclear forces treaty unless it faces, quote, serious threat. China won't support sanctions against Moscow. Now, we knew that was coming because China is working on building up its own currency to be the next global currency, the next reserve currency. Rockefeller oil dynasty to divest from fossil fuels. ExxonMobil is not leaving Russian Arctic. A polar bear was arrested at the Flood Wall Street protest yesterday. Also, IDF. Suspects in 3 Israeli teens' kidnappings were killed. A man confesses to a crime he committed in 1997 because he feared that Walmart was messaging him about the woman that he killed. I'm not even making this. This guy killed someone in 1997 and then never even bothered to find out her name. So, by some mistake, he started getting messages from Walmart about a prescription being ready to pick up, and it had a woman's name. And he, for some reason, thought that Walmart was sending him messages about the woman that he had murdered almost 20 years ago. So then he fled to the country where he had killed her and confessed to the police. And the cops say, well, if he didn't turn himself in, we never would have caught him. Also on the website, 3 lessons an investor learned after losing his job, reputation, and $1.6 million. Herbalife shares crashed on Monday. The GM death toll from faulty ignition switches rises to 21. The Israeli military shot down a Syrian plane over Israeli airspace. The Navy released a video of them bombing ISIS. So I guess they wanted to get back at ISIS for ISIS, releasing those videos of them beheading people. So the Navy decided the correct course of action was then to release a video of them bombing ISIS. Because, eye for an eye, right? That's what they say. Weeks of U.S. strikes failed to dislodge ISIS in Iraq. The U.S. informed Syria of the impending airstrikes against ISIS. Also on the website, a soldier accused of beating his toddler daughter to death over a dirty diaper. A toddler was drowned in church's baptizing water. A man was shot to death by police while outside smoking and checking his Facebook. Police mistook his phone for a gun. Police thought this guy's smartphone was a gun. Or at least, it seems like that's what they're saying. A trooper tells local news the best way to not get raped by cops is to follow the law. That's right. If you're worried about cops raping you, and if you're a woman, you should be, because police tend to be, statistically speaking, more inclined to rape and sexual assault than the average person. Well, the best way, I guess, to not get raped by cops is just follow the law, because then you won't get pulled over by police, so that means you're less likely to get raped by a cop. Yeah, I know. All right. Also on the website, it's amazing how badly Fox screwed up Joss Whedon's Firefly. Oh, I know. I know about that one. It's disgusting is what it is. Oh, and the White House intruder from Friday, the man armed with a knife. A lot of news sources have flipped out today. He had more than 800 rounds of ammo in his car. Yeah, but no guns. He had 800 rounds of ammo in his car, but no gun. And the deadly weapon that he was found with was a knife with a 3-inch blade. Oh, also, the Republican Party just dumped a whole bunch of its dirt on Hillary Clinton. 21 photos of nature winning the battle against civilian. Oh, and this one is hilarious. A photographer recreates famous portraits, and he uses John Malkovich as his model. That's it. Just John Malkovich. All right, folks, that's it for the Angel Clark Show this evening. We will return tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Until that time, remember, no army can stop an idea whose time has come.
Rehab for status. This is the Angel Clark Show.